Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns, 3.5-point home favorites, a very low 42 total by today's NFL standards in this one. Wish we had more clarity to be able to give you as we do this preview. This is going to become a lot more clear throughout the course of the week. So you're going to really need to keep in touch with all the injury news and all the stuff that's going on there. Baker Mayfield could play in this game. It might not be for sure Case Keenum in this game. The wide receiver situation for the Browns is, could Odell go? Could Jarvis Landry go? Et cetera, et cetera. It looks like Jarvis Landry is going to go. He said in a press conference afterwards that he wasn't that bad on him. You did get Jack Conklin back at practice on Wednesday for this Browns team. That is also good for this team. So there are some signs pointing in the right direction, but there's going to need to be, a lot more clarity here on who's going to be going before I can really get a strong opinion. That said, Brad, I'm going to start with you here. If you're giving me, if you're telling me that it's going to be a semi-healthy Browns team, and if this thing somehow ticks back down to just the 3, and I don't have to pay the 3 and a hook, I think this Browns team at 85% ish capacity is still a much better team than this Steelers team is right now. Am I off base here? What do you think about this one?
No, completely agree. Is Case Keenum, is he a worse quarterback than Roethlisberger right now? I don't think that's a slam dunk. And then probably pretty much every other part of the team is in the Browns' favor. Like offensive line, far superior. Defensive line, probably equals. But I think the Browns are stronger everywhere. Now there's I would say the thing I'm most sure about is that the Steelers are not moving the football here. 30th pass block win rate, going up against Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett, second in pass rush win rate. And obviously you've got Roethlisberger back there, immobile. And I think that's going to be a bit of a bloodbath. So it came down to, do you want to just go under 42.5, which is what I ended up doing, or do you want the Browns? Now, I would also take Browns -3 if it got there, because it does sound like they're going to have those tackles back, and I think they can. I would say they can probably run the ball on anyone with a healthy offensive line, and then that gets the play action game going, that gets everything going. So, yeah, it's under 42.5 for me, or Browns -3. Pick your poison.
Stephen, you were able to find a Browns -3. And I know that it was there early on in the week. I just wasn't able to pull the trigger quick enough to be able to get there, but you were able to find a Browns -3, and you went ahead and stuck that in the account.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Based on closing lines, if you guys remember, the Browns were -3 against Arizona a couple of weeks ago, which kind of makes a -3 against the Steelers at home pretty laughable, in my opinion. So, I mean, the Browns are healthier now. I think I was comfortable with the way that these health reports are trending. Nick Chubb is back at practice as well, which isn't huge on the line, but it is important to the efficiency of their run game in this offense. And maybe even more importantly, I think that their offensive line is coming in. You mentioned Conklin, Wills, and Treader were also back at practice and practicing on Wednesday. So if you look at this, what's the argument for backing the Steelers in this game? And the narrative is, well, the Pittsburgh's improved in their past 2 games. Well, in those 2 games, the offense was still 16th and 21st in EPA and success rate in those 2 weeks. They were still 17th and 22nd in drop back EPA and success rate. And they were 19th in success rate running the ball. So this is still a mediocre offense. And their defense in those 2 wins were 16th and 25th in EPA and success rate. They were 29th and 25th in rush D EPA and success rate. And we know the Browns maul people running the ball. They are 1st and 4th on the year in rushing EPA and success rate. So that is an enormous mismatch running the ball for the Browns in this matchup. I was happy to lay the 3. And frankly, I don't really care which quarterback starts for the Cleveland Browns in this game.
Yeah, I don't really either. I mean, I don't know if a healthy Case Keenum isn't better than an injured Baker Mayfield even at this point too. So I don't know. To me, I don't think that there's that big of a difference at all. If I can find a flat 3, this is going to be in the account as well for me on the Browns. If you look at what Pittsburgh has, another thing, Juju Smith-Schuster gone, no longer there. So that little safety blanket running those type of routes that really fit Ben Roethlisberger's game at this point, is no longer there. So I think that's a bigger issue than people are really making of that as well, because now you have you've got Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson who aren't really running the type of routes that fit Ben Roethlisberger's arm strength and everything else that goes on with this team these days. And yeah, I understand Pittsburgh defense is not the worst in the world, certainly an upper half unit at this point. I don't think it's the super elite unit that we thought it might be whenever we entered the season so far. And I think that the Browns will be able to move the ball. And especially, this is coming from a couple of the beat writers I was watching yesterday saying that, this is the first time this offensive line has practiced together in a very, very long time. And for a team that relies as heavily as it does on the offensive line being strong, giving the quarterback time, mauling guys in the run game, things like that, getting that full offensive line back out there is pretty massive. And I think that that's a winning offensive line over what they're going to be up against with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So yes, I will be on the Browns at 3 if I can find me a 3, and if not, maybe a smaller play on the 3.5 if I can't get the flat 3 out there.